All right, y'all, let's get started. So listen, all things old are new again, and these blankets are no exception. You've probably seen these weighted pony bead crochet blankets popping up all over the place. I remember seeing these being made in the late 80s. Like I said, I come from a very crafty family. I've been in the crafting circuit my whole life. I saw another creator saying that she remembered seeing these in the late 90s. So they have been around for quite some time. What you're going to need, just regular worsted weight yarn. I'm going to be using this Red Heart Super Saver. Let's move my light. Red Heart Super Saver. And I got these pony beads from Joann's. So they come in a 1 pound bag. And you're probably wondering, well, how much is this blanket going to weigh? How big is this blanket going to be? I'm not going to be making the entire blanket in this video. I don't know how big you want your blanket to be. But the way that you can figure out the weight is figure out how many skeins of yarn that you use at the end of your blanket, and then figure out how many packages of beads that you used, okay? So you look at the weight of your yarn, and it's on the label, oh my goodness, Amber, 7 ounces. So let's say that you used 5 skeins of yarn, 6 skeins of yarn, 7 skeins. Just figure up how many ounces that weighs, and then figure up how many bags of beads you used, and that's going to give you the weight of your blanket. Now, the blankets that I remember seeing many years ago were all backed. A lot of people are saying, well, how comfortable can this blanket be? Put a backing on it. My grandma would use either a piece of fleece, cut it to the size of your blanket, and sew it around the edges, or you can just crochet another blanket the size of the one that you make with the beads. You can crochet another one the same size in single crochet or half double crochet, and then just stitch them together. That is going to make it comfortable on the back, and it's also going to add a little bit more weight. So we have our beads, we have our yarn. Now we need 2 crochet hooks. I have a 4.5 millimeter here and a 3.75. And yes, I'm wearing short pink nails, and y'all know I despise pink and short nails. But a lot of people don't like long nails in crochet, go figure. But anyway, I know it looks strange on my hands, right? I have a 4.5 and the 3.75. Now you can use a hook smaller than a 3.75 if that's what you have, but it just needs to be able to grip worsted weight yarn and pull it through your bead, okay? Now to begin, you want to take your yarn. I'm just going to close these beads in case I knock them over. You just want to take your yarn and make a slip knot just like you would any other crochet project. And now we're going to make a chain, and we're starting with our 4.5 millimeter hook. You want to chain in multiples of 2 and then plus 1, okay? So you chain however many, 2, 4, 6, 8, however many stitches it takes you to get the width of the blanket that you want. I'm not going to be doing the whole blanket. Like I said, I'm just doing a swatch. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 24, 25, 26. That should be good. So I made 26. Like I said, multiples of 2. Now we're going to chain 1 more. And now we're going to start half double crochets. This is going to be our first row. So row number 1, we're just going to half double crochet all the way back across. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. You don't go into this one right here at the hook, skip 1, 2, and then go into the third one with your half double crochet. Let me just get started here, and then I'll do that stitch more slowly. So for your half double crochet, you take your yarn, loop it around, go into your stitch, grab your yarn and pull it up. You now have 3 loops on your hook. Loop around and pull through all 3. Okay. Now we're going to do this all the way across. Okay, so I'm coming up to my very last stitch here, and the last stitch is going to be, of course, a half double crochet. I know a lot of people say this is the TikTok blanket. Baby, TikTok is not the mother of all invention, okay? This stuff was around long before TikTok. Come on now. All right, so now that you've made your last half double crochet, you're going to chain 1. And this is where I'm going to switch my hook and go from the 4.5 millimeter to the 3.75. And like I said, you can use a much smaller one if you want to. Just make sure that it's going to grab your yarn without splitting it and, you know, just missing it. That's going to give you a hard time. So I'm going to insert my hook here, and then we're going to turn our work. Now on the bead rows, you are always going to begin and end with a half double crochet. That's going to give you a nice border up the side. So we're going to turn, and I hate the way that this hook handles, but it's what I have in the size that we need here. So you're just going to grab your work, give it a turn, and then half double crochet into the first stitch. Half double crochet. Now stop. This is where we're going to add on a bead. Now you want to make sure that your bead can fit onto your hook, like so. Boop. So when you're in the store, you may want to take your hook with you and just kind of, in the package, like I did at Joann's, just kind of take your hook and just kind of push it through the bead a little bit and make sure it fits. So we have our bead on here. Now in this next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. So go into that stitch, just make a single crochet like you normally would. Now you're going to take this and pull it through your bead and through this loop over here. So you may just have to guide it with your fingers. This is where a much smaller hook would come in handy, but I just didn't like the way it grabbed the yarn. So now that we have our bead in this stitch, your next stitch is a half double. In, pull your yarn up, and then through all three. See, and now your bead is very snugly secured in there. It's not really going to rock back and forth or tilt sideways like this. And now we're going to add on another one. So let's do a blue one. So you finished your half double, put your bead on your hook, go into the next stitch and make a single crochet. Now that you have that single crochet made, go ahead and pull it through your bead. Just wiggle it with your fingers. Wiggle it just a little bit. Ooh, there we go. Now we're going to half double crochet in the next one. Half double. See? Now the tension that we're using on this row with the beads, you don't want your tension to be very tight, because this hook is much smaller than the one that we're using down here. And if you're using a really tight tension, your blanket's going to kind of start pulling in on itself like that, and we don't want that. All right, let's see what color we're going to use next. I'm not pulling all the beads out because you know me, if you watch me for a while, you know I pull beads out and then I knock them everywhere. But now that I've put the pink bead on here, we're going to do the same thing. Single crochet into that next stitch. Just grab your yarn and pull it up, and then pull it through this bead. Half double crochet in the next stitch. And this is all that we're doing all the way across this row. You see how they're sitting very nicely. Very, very nicely. So you're just going to repeat this all the way across. We've done our half double crochet. Put your bead on your hook and do a single. Then pull it through your bead. Do a half double and just repeat all the way to the end. Like I said, your last stitch, it's okay if you miss your counts. It's okay if you don't get right in the first stitch over here. Just make sure that no matter how many beads you put on here, you always want to end with a half double crochet. This is what we have so far. And I've just put on my last bead. So like I said, your first stitch and your last stitch is going to be a half double crochet. So we're going to do this half double crochet here, and I'm just going to go ahead and switch my hook back to the 4.5. Chain one, and that is the end of our beaded row. Now let's flip our work. And now this is going to be fairly easy to figure out where your half double crochets need to go. One before the bead and one after. One before, after, before, after, before, after. And then you're just going to work your way all the way across. So here's our bead. This space right here in front of it, that's where your first half double crochet is going to go. So loop around, go in that space, pull it up, and then pull through all three. Now skip over your bead and go into this section right here, right behind it. Okay. There you go. Now our bead is thoroughly encased in our yarn. It is not going to come out. So we're going to go into that next space right in front of this bead here. and do your half double. Right here behind the bead, another half double. In front of the bead and after the bead. Okay, so we've come all the way to the end of our row, and I've put my half double crochet behind this bead. Now we need to put one more in this space right here. Okay, one more half double. And now we're at the end of our row. Oh, there's a cat hair. Do you even have cats if their hair don't get all up in your crochet? All right, so there's that. Now we're just going to do a beaded row again, just like we did a while ago. So I've switched out my hook here, and we're going to chain one. Boop. Okay. So after you chain one, turn your work, and now we're going to start adding our beads. Half double crochet in that first stitch. Okay. Now add your bead. Now I'm going to try to stagger the colors here. And now we're going to make our single crochet in the next stitch. Pull your yarn. You don't want this loop to be too loose on your hook now. Pull it through the bead and then through there. Half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay. Now I'm going to add a pink. And we're just doing the same thing that we've been doing all the way down. I'm putting on my last bead of this row here. And now my bead's very close to the end, so we're just going to put in a half double crochet right there. Okay. I'm trying to show you that things don't have to be absolutely perfect. Okay. So now that we're at the end of our beaded row, what are we going to do? We're going to switch right back over to our larger size hook. Chained one and then turn my work. And now we're going to go back into doing the half double crochets in front of each bead and after each bead. So my second row of beads is complete, and my next row of half double crochet is complete. Now your beads are really going to help you to keep track of your stitch count. So you don't have to sit there and constantly count your stitches. Just count how many beads you put on your first row, and then count how many beads each row there on out. And just make sure that you always end with the half double crochet, okay? So there we have it. Call this little swatch here done. Now, if this was your blanket, you can go ahead and put on the border. How would I put on the border? I think I would just do maybe just some single crochets or half doubles. You want to do some half doubles, we can do that. So what I would do is we're going to go ahead and chain one. Whoa, Amber. Chain one. Now, into this last half double crochet, I'm going to put 3. Let's do 2. I think that'll look good. Now you just want to evenly space your half double crochets all the way down the rough side of your project. So, okay, I put 2 here, and the next one I put 1. Now let's take a look here, and we can put 1 here. Don't crochet very tightly because then your blanket's going to start to ripple. Put 1 there. Let's put 1 here. And every time you do a stitch, this is the way I like to do it on the rough sides. Just kind of lay it down and take a look at it. All right, that looks good. For the next one, just go right here. There is no specific way to put these stitches in. It's just wherever you think they would look good. If you put too many, then your blanket's going to be all ruffly, okay? It's going to start to have ruffles. And if you don't put enough, it's going to start to pull in on itself. Okay, so now I'm basically down to the corner here, and we're going to work 3 half double crochets into this corner stitch. So 1 and 2 and 3. Turn in your work all the way around. And now this is the bottom here. In each one of these stitches, you're just going to work 1 half double crochet all the way down. When you get to this corner, work 3 half double crochets. Then just evenly space them down the rough edge. Work 3 double crochets in the corner. Half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Put one more half double crochet into this corner stitch. You'll have 1, 2, 3. Just put one here, and then you're just going to finish it off by making a slip stitch into that stitch, cutting your yarn and pulling it through. But I'm going to work my way all the way around, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm coming up on this corner space here. We already have the 2 half doubles in there when we started, and now we're just going to take this and we're going to make one more half double in that corner for a total of 3. Go into that stitch, just pull your yarn through, single crochet, and then we're just going to cut it, boink, and then pull it through, whee! And then you'll just take your yarn needle and work away your ends. Let's zoom out a little bit. And this is what you would have, but imagine this much larger and in blanket form. Now, if you know that there are specific colors of beads that you want to use, you can buy these beads at Joann's in individual colors. I did get some colors a while ago to do a Halloween themed blanket with some black yarn, and no, I wasn't going to do that on camera because we know how aggravating black yarn is. But you can buy these beads in individual colors. You can also check Amazon, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, whatever craft store you have available to you. Anyway, I hope you found this video informative. If you would, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.